get this back to me at the end. Just time slots available. For anyone who doesn't know what ACA/RES is, so far I've discovered that's the Academic Resource Center, which is like the language center. So I'm going to check on that to make sure. But I'll send you the exact address for that. We checked it out last time. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cadet Third Class Peggy, your Honor Commander. For all those who are doing the detail for the flag ceremony, second half of LLAB, you need to see me during the break. Everyone understand? Good.
Morning, sir, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Fourth Class Rosenblatt. I just want to tell you all about this thing called the Polar Bear Plunge, which is a non-profit fundraiser for the Special Olympics going on in Athens, where you jump into a giant pool of freezing water, and you register as a team to raise money and through donations for the Special Olympics. So I thought maybe we could have different flights doing it and see who can raise the most money.
All right. Good morning, sir, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that met the requirements for last semester to get the incentive meal and support your cooling, come find me with this sheet. We'll fill it out so you can get fed.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cadet Third Class Lois, and as you can see, liaison for today. For the whole rotation, actually. If I can get a hand count of who's going to go to the meet and greet social today at 6:30 to 8:30.
You sure about that, Chris?
All right, thank you.
One last joke, stop the safety officer today. Just let you know, if you need to hydrate, take wingman outside and use restroom takes that. Don't be climbing over the seats. If in case of evacuation, we'll be meeting over at, Bromley. Contact safety officer, Captain Straw.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before we hear your drill team commander, we'll be starting up this rotations candidate class real soon. We'll start a week from Tuesday. I'll send out an email to anyone if you're interested. Just reply to that email. I'll get your contact information and I'll let you know more details. Also, I am the Honorary Society Candidate Training Officer, and we will be starting up that candidate class February 4th. I believe it's a Thursday. I'll make a big announcement next week at LLAB, show you slides and, let you what's all good about Honorary Society. But be thinking about that, think about what you want to do. Obviously, you can't do everything, but try to figure out what you want to do. Are there any questions about either one of those? Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cadet Major Powell. I am the Operations Squadron Commander. If you missed 2 PTs, or you're going to miss any part of LLAB, this or alternate, I need a attachment Form 6 within 24 hours of the date you missed it. So that's not up on Blackboard yet. I'm hoping to get it up today. So if you miss 2 PTs, email me and I will get that form to you. Any questions? All right.
All right, cadets, next we're going to have AFSC briefings by the 300s and 400s. But real quick, if you're interested in possible careers in the Air Force, you can go to airforce.com. And a good way to narrow down your careers is you select your interests, and it'll actually show you careers related to that interest. So, for example, I know Captain Marson said he was interested in law, and then you go down here and select college graduate. So here are actually some of the choices if you're interested in law as an officer. This is what you can do. You got contracting officer, judge advocate officer, security forces, and special investigation. So this is a pretty interesting website. If you want to learn more about certain careers or find out what some of your interests are. So we also have, like I said, the 300s and 400s, and Kevin Kennedy giving a briefing about their specific areas. So, if Captain Parsons, you'd like to come down first.
Alright. Did this slide last year, so bear with me. I can't capture questions anymore. But I got slated for security forces in Mounts Room. That's where I'll be headed, so hopefully I can shed some light on what the authority to talk about this than I am. He's been in there, so hit him up if you need it. As an overview, I'll be talking about objectives, tasks, base locations, and experience you gained as security force officer. So, weapon system expertise, you'll be qualified. Anything from an M9 all the way up to a Mark 19, which is an automatic grenade launcher, depending on your job, where you're at. You'll be slated for anti-terrorism, counter sniper. There's a whole slew of different jobs you can do within security forces. You can ask your boss and say you want to go to Ranger School and you have the qualifications. You go to the Army Ranger School and you'll have that on your resume, and you can do counter snipers, OSI type stuff. There's a whole list of jobs within security forces that you can train for. Obviously, they do law enforcement on base, off of base as well. Air base defense. There's the most vulnerable time an aircraft's in danger is when it's taking off and landing. So we have to provide a cushion outside of the base because there's possibly danger to those aircraft from the land side. So we have to secure that and make sure it's safe for the aircraft to land and take off so they don't get shot down. Industrial security arms, I forget what that was about. Crew tasks, like I said, direction of air base defense. You'll sit in on boards going over possible threats to the base and how you will combat them, I guess. Exercise and drill. As an officer, you'll be primarily a team leader going in. So you'll be in charge of your own team, and you'll be in charge of the enlisted. And I believe it is one of the few career paths that you'll be thrown right into the mix above a lot of enlisted personnel. So you'll get leadership responsibilities right from that say a KEC won't get as a pilot. So that's a plus if you count that as a plus. And like I said, planning boards, you'll be sitting on boards, making sure that your base is secure. So where's some bases you can go? Everywhere there's an Air Force installation, there will be security forces there, just to make sure the assets are secure, the personnel are secure. If those aren't maintained and we're not doing our job, then the Air Force can't do their job. The jets don't take off. Primarily that's the main thing. Experience gains. That's Reno 911, that's not what we do. Do you know what that is? Get a lot of hands-on experience, especially as an enlisted, but obviously you still do. Civilian sector, you can work, kind of double dip. If you want to, you got to get pre-approved, but you can work for the local sheriff's department or police department if you have spare time. And also the experience you gain, while it won't just get you into the police department, if you choose to get out of the Air Force, it won't just give you a head start, but it'll give you experience that you already gained, hands-on weapon training, how to handle situations, traffic stops, violations, what have you. I'll talk about a little bit of personal. When I went to Japan, I think my freshman summer, I got to visit Okinawa, Japan, and the security forces squadron there. We brought up the K9 unit. It's the enlisted side, but you have to put on the big tomato suit. You run away, the dog chases you, right? And then it smashes into you. Well, they also have drug sniffing dogs. I don't know, they have a whole slew of dogs. Those dogs cost up to like $80,000. So they breed, they train their dogs. It's a big operation. Anybody have any questions? I can go on for a while.
You mentioned you'd be in charge of a team. How large would you be?
I don't say no.
Okay, so part of that. You can start off as a second lieutenant, as a flight commander, and after flights ranging anywhere from 20 to 100 people. How often are you likely to deploy?
You're stretched thin when it comes to like when I'm going to Malmstrom. I've been told that the personnel there, even though it's a nuke base primarily, they get slated for deployments. Not as much since it's a one base, priority one base. But the lower on the priority levels at the bases you're at, the more likely you're going to deploy, and your deployments, you rack them up pretty quick. A person who graduated here a couple years ago, I was in contact with him, and he went to Little Rock, went down to basic training, which is 4 months, or tech school, which is 4 months, in San Antonio, and he got his orders to deploy while he was at tech school. So right when he got done with tech school, he went to Afghanistan. So it's a pretty quick turnaround.
Which is also deployed, depends on the situation with the war. I mean, Iraq's pretty much wrapping up. We do have some assets there, but again, it's mostly a training role. A lot of security forces are there in training mission to train their security forces, but it's not combat for there. And Afghanistan's rapidly moving that direction also. So it depends. I mean, if there's wars that kick off in the years to come, maybe high. If there aren't, maybe low. Depends. But of all the career fields, they're pretty much right up there with the rest of them, except for the LDHD. LDHD are your low density, high demand assets. They deploy the most. Below that are kind of the security forces and copy. Contract.
Any other questions? That's all I got. Thank you.
Captain McKenzie, will you please come down?
Yeah.
Same deal, but twice
How many inches are we going to get today?
Up to 5, sir. They keep bumping it up. It was 4 last night, and then they bumped up to 5. So. All right. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cadet Tom McKenzie, and my briefing's over 15 Whiskey Weather Officer. So, all of you know what weather is. It's a pretty basic concept, but the things you learn in it is actually quite complicated. So, yeah, we'll go over it. So here's an overview of the AFSC, Capone Air Station is where I'm going to be. The 21st Operational Weather Squadron, which is where who I'm going to be working for, and qualifications you need to be a weather officer. First of all, weather was something I've been interested in since I was 8 years old, so this is kind of a dream come true for me. Coming here at OU a couple years ago, I'm an old man, so what, like 4 and a half, I guess. I wanted to do weather, and I actually wasn't interested in ROTC or anything like that until senior year, and that's what actually led me to pursuing a career in the Air Force. It's weather in the Air Force is it's such a high demand. There's such a high demand for it, such a low supply, because there's very few schools in the nation that actually offer weather. So they're really looking for weather officers. So if you put it down, you're qualified, you're probably going to get it. All right, so 15 Whiskey Weather Officer. Commands, manages, and performs weather operations for Army activities. So joint operations, that makes sense. Leads weather units and manages Air Force weather personnel and resources. Analyzes and evaluates meteorological data and prepares forecast products. So that's like the basic overview of what I'll be doing. Capone Air Station. So I'm going to Capone Air Station, Germany. It's about 10 minutes outside of Ramstein and about 10 minutes away from Kaiserslautern. I pronounce that right. Yeah. So, which is also called Cape Town. Over there.
This is, this will be a cool opportunity for me. Not too many people get to do that. It's not a deployment, it's an overseas station, so I'll be there for 2 years. Some of the pros with this, it's close by Ramstein, but far enough away to avoid traffic. I'm not going to be at a huge base. Ramstein is one of the biggest air bases overseas, but it's way smaller. But it's a completely new environment for me, so I'm not sure how this is going to work. So we'll see how it goes. And the 21st Operational Weather Squadron, nicknamed the Knights, threw that in there. I thought that was pretty cool. It provides highly accurate, timely, and relevant environmental situational awareness to Air Force, Navy, and Army commanders operating in United States European Command in partnership with NATO. So I'll be part of United States Air Force in Europe. That's the 21st Operational Weather Squadron patch. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's all. Qualifications. So the one main qualification that they look for is a meteorology degree. If you're not meteorology, atmospheric science works. Atmospheric science is basically the non-tech version of meteorology. And there's not much more to say about that. However, it's not required. You don't need to have it. However, you do need to have some sort of technical, or close to technical degree. You need to have a lot of math, a lot of physics. You have to have a pretty demanding course load through college. So if that's the case, if you decide you're not meteorology, but you decide to pursue meteorology in the Air Force, you can put that on your wish list. And in this case, if you do go for it, you'll enroll in the basic meteorology program prior to your first station, your first assignment. That's a summary. A couple things I put some notes here. According to Colonel Harboy, we'll probably have a high chance of deployment. One of the reasons will be because of that. I'll be working alongside Intel and weather work really close together. Which is, it's good for you if you want to get deployed. There's some pretty cool assignments out there. I don't know if any of you remember Lieutenant Miller. I believe he was here last year. He's already been to Qatar, and he's on his second year deployment in Korea already. So, he's been experiencing a lot. Yeah, this is a summary of what I'm going to be doing. Anybody have any questions? Yep, Parsons.
You go pick up racing out in Germany, just going around Autobahn?
Yeah, probably. Why not?
Get a better car.
Yeah.
What's that?
Get a better car.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to. Definitely. Any other questions?
I'll just quick add to it, because I sat alongside a lot of other people when I was an Intel officer, and we briefed the pilots on preparing for their flight operations. I was working with U-2 pilots, and so when you work with U-2 pilots flying over 70,000 feet, the weather gets a little interesting up there, so it's very different. And you're briefing very specifically the routes that they're going to be flying, what kind of things that they're going to be experiencing at different flight levels, and it really is important to those pilots to understand what they're getting themselves into and to be prepared for that. So a lot of the typical weather things that you think about when you watch the Weather Channel, you're doing a lot radically different things, briefing specifically pilots and preparing them for their weather briefs. So it is a lot different from what you see on the Weather Channel.
All right, next we have Gil. Oh, boy, say it.
Alright, morning sir, morning ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ken Gill, as you all should know by now. I want to go over pilot, but more specifically pilot training, because everyone knows what an airplane looks like, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. Overview, I'm going to go over IFS, Phase 1, Phase 2, track selection, Phase 3, grad flight, and formal training. There's a lot of stuff in training. Alright, IFS is a specialized undergraduate pilot training. Before you get to fly these, they teach you in these. So baby planes, Dyna DA-20s. They take you out to Pueblo, Colorado, not too far from the Air Force Academy. It's 3 to 6 weeks depending on weather and other factors. And the idea, this is the big washout phase. This is where if you get kicked out of pilot training, it'll probably be here. This is where people get like air sickness, can't read instruments, stuff like that. Just this phase is mainly designed to see if you can actually fly an airplane. All right, phase 1, in my case, when they send me back to Laughlin, Texas, is pre-flight academics. It's 31 days a month, all in a classroom. So I get to sit in the classroom just like this and learn about aerospace, geology, aircraft systems, and basic building blocks for pilot training.
That's the next highest washout place.
Always get washed out. You make it through those phases, you go into phase 2. It's also called the primary phase. This is where if you made it through the 2 phases, they're going to put you in the T6. Basic things here, you know, basically understand how to fly hot aircraft, stuff like that. It's 90 days long, so you get 50 hours in a simulator. I'll put you in simulators a lot. And they give you 87 hours of flight time in the aircraft itself. If you graduate through phase 2, they bump you to track selection. This is where they bump you into, you're either going to be fighter track, heavy track, or helicopter track. If you get heavies, that's C-17, C-130, B-52, something like that, I'm going to put you in the T1. All right, this train, basically designed to move slow like a heavy aircraft would move, no big deal. If you get fighter track, so anything fighters or the fast bombers, we're going to put you in a T-38, which is on the bottom. A little bit faster, teach you how to handle in a fighter situation, something like that. And of course, if you get helicopter track, they're going to put you in the Black Ops, or the U-860s. Alright, phase 3. This is the advanced phase. For the T-38s, you're going to get 30 hours of simulator, and 90 hours of flight time over the course of a few months. If you get the T1, it's 44 hours of simulator, 87 hours of flight time. Again, the hours are a little bit different depending on the airframe, but it's about the same thing. It's after this phase that you're in your pilot wings. You know, everyone gets all excited to get their pilot wings. It's after this phase. Then, never ends. Going to grad flight. When I was looking through the welcome packet, the grad flight's kind of funny because they said you're going to go on multiple TDYs, so it has precedence over all personal events. So if you're scheduled to get married and you have TDY then, you're going to miss your own wedding. They're not going to let you go. Keep that in mind if you get selected and you go to grad flight. All of these things have to be done. So SEER, survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training. Everyone's heard of SEER training. You go 3 weeks of SEER training for a pilot. Then they'll send you down to Pensacola, Florida for water training and teach you a basic water survival. You know, if you get shot down or you crash over the ocean, and raft building, catching food, getting out of your aircraft, out of your ejection seat once you hit the water, stuff like that. If you get selected for fighter track, they say you go through introduction to fighter fundamentals. So that would be air-to-ground tactics, air-to-air tactics, formation, keeping close to your wingman, and stuff like that. And then when you get assigned, at the end of this, you get assigned your major weapon system. That's the aircraft itself. And the aircraft you get sent to, depending on the airframe, this is where you can go. Go ahead and look through it, because I don't want to read all this. Oh, and also, by the time you get past this point, it'll be about 2 years of training. So I'll be 25 before I actually enter an active duty squad. Pilot training is not a few months like security force, anything like that. They stick you in training for years. It's constant, right down the line. Any questions?
Is there a swim test?
Yes, there is. Anything else?
Is there anything you're hoping to fly?
Anything will stick me in? Anything else?
Is there certain like height requirements to be like?
Between 5'4" and 6'5". Very good.
No, well, I was just curious. Like for certain planes, are they like specific or is it just like?
That's the requirement for all of them. The reason being, you can be shorter and fly certain aircraft, but to fit in the ejection seat, you have to be above 5'4" so you don't fall out when you're ejected. So the idea is that the trainers all carry ejection seats. That's why there's a height problem.
6'4", 6'5", they start checking your length of your legs to make sure you're not going to get chopped off when you eject off.
Yeah, ejection's not like moves where you just kind of pop out. When you come out in ejection seat, you're getting 15 Gs. So for instance, I weigh almost 200 pounds. pounds. When they fire me out of that seat, I weigh 3,000 pounds. You're instantly knocked unconscious, and you hope that you wake up with a parachute over your head. So basically, if you don't fit in that aircraft coming out, you're going to lose a liver field. You're also going to be a half inch shorter when your spine compresses. You got questions? Okay, injection's not good. You're alive, but it's about it. Yes, sir.
How long do you have to stay in the Air Force now?
2 years training, 10 years requirement now. They bump one a few years.
12 total.
12. So it's 10 years after training.
Not too fun. Basically, you better just stay for 20. You're already most of the way there. Anything else?
The 2 years training count for your 20?
Towards 20, yes.
We're not towards your tab.
Right. Good.
Next, we'll be having an IG briefing from our IG.
All right, good morning again. Is there a clicker? All right, so once again, good morning. I'm Cadet Tom McKenzie, and I'm also the Inspector General for this rotation. So I'm going to explain my job as IG, ways that you can take advantage of the resources that we offer as part of the IG program, and a couple other things. So this is what I'm going to go over, responsibilities of my position, standardization, sort of a new duty that I have, AIP tutoring and grades, the IG complaint program, the continuity program, the GMCL at Lewis, and some final notes. So responsibilities as IG. So I'm responsible for all these things, ensuring that cadets are receiving adequate training free of hazing or harassment. So basically, all of you should be receiving proper training. If not, that's where the cadre and I step in and do something about it. I would obviously go to Captain's Job first and take care of the situation. Monitor quality of operations and compliance of instructions. So yeah, I'm pretty big on ranks. And all of you who were here last year when I was wing commander, you know that was like my big thing. The thing is that the regulations there for a reason. It's it's your set of rules. It's your law book. So that's one of my jobs also, to make sure that everyone's following the regulations. Especially the big ones like FRCI 2010, 2011, things like that. Manages the IG complaint report program, I'll talk about that. Manages AIP, I'll talk about that. Academic improvement program. Manages cadet wing continuity program. What do you know? I'm going to talk about that too. Ensures that cadets are prepared to take the AFOT. I'm also part of wing staff, so I submit weekly updates to Parsons back there, and also attend weekly wing stand-up. I also provide to the GNCL Hills. So standardization, this is like I said, this is kind of a new responsibility for the IG this semester. Monitor standardization throughout the cadet wing, especially when it comes to Alpha and Bravo flights. So Cadet Reiser and Cadet O'Connell, for the most part, should be training all the 100s, or everyone in Alpha and Bravo flight, relatively the same. It doesn't have to be exact. Obviously, everyone has their own training style, their own leadership style. So it doesn't have to be exact. It's not, oh, you have to say this verbatim because Cadet Reiser said this verbatim in her flight meeting. No, that's not exactly what I'm looking for. Basically, my job here is to make sure that all of you are accomplishing the same objectives. So that way you're receiving as close to the same training as possible. It's not going to be exact. That's natural. There's really no way to fix that unless we were to combine both the flights. If you feel that you're being trained differently, ask your flight commander. You have every right to go to your flight commander and ask, hey, you think we're doing this well? Your flight commander may say, well, no, but I understand where you're coming from. You have every right to go up to them without fear of any sort of discipline coming to you. And if you're not comfortable, ask me of the GMCO. That's what we're here for. AIP, tutoring, and grades. That's one of my main objectives this rotation as IG. So the academic improvement program, some of you have heard of this. If you haven't heard of it, it's probably a good thing because you have not had an issue with grades yet. What that is, basically, it's a way to help you improve your grades. If your grades are below standards. If you're not in this, don't worry too much about this. If you want to ask me afterwards, go right ahead. Tutoring. If you need a tutor, let your flight commander know. You should be, your flight commander should be knowing what what you need to work on or what you would like to work on. Academics come first. Everyone should know that academics come before any ROTC activity, no matter what it is. You cannot commission if you have poor grades. That's the bottom line. And hopefully all of your main objectives here is to commission as a United States Air Force officer. If you need a tutor, you can also talk to, once again, you can also talk to me. You can also talk to the GMCL. All you have to do is come up to one of us and say, you know what, I don't know if I'm doing too well in this class. Even if, you may be doing okay. You may be, pulling a B right now, but you may be worrying about a midterm or something. And you might be thinking, you know what, I think a tutor would be a good idea. Meet with a tutor once a week, just to make sure I sharpen up everything. If you are getting a B average, there's always room for improvement. So, if the resources are there available to you, you might as well use them. So, grades. I mentioned this. Most important aspect of ROTC, you cannot commission. Talk to me if you want to discuss your grades. I have an open door policy. I'm going to mention that later also. I'll explain that a little bit. Feel free to talk to me at any time. Pop into my office and say, you know what, I'm a little bit worried about this class. IG complaint program. What this is this is one of the ways to ensure that all of you are receiving proper training and being treated the way you're supposed to as an Air Force ROTC cadet. If you have an issue, talk to your supervisor. If you have an issue with anything, I don't care how ridiculous it is. If you want to say, I don't know, Cadet Mackenzie talks funny, talk to your flight commander at least and get that solved. That's one of the primary duties of your main supervisor. They are leading you, so you should be comfortable going up to them and expressing your concern or discussing an issue. That being said, if you don't feel comfortable talking to your supervisor or you don't feel it's appropriate for the situation, say for example you believe that there is an issue of favoritism amongst your flight commander and someone in your flight with him, and you think it's a serious concern. Issues like this do happen. They don't seem like they, you don't think that in an environment like this they would, but they do. It happens in every organization that you're going to be working for. If you do not wish to talk to your supervisor, maybe you don't feel comfortable because it's an issue involving your supervisor, one of the things that you could do is talk to his or her supervisor. So in this case, if you are a GMC cadet, you have an issue with your flight commander, let's say, you can go to the training squadron commander at Weisinger and talk to him about the issue, because Cadet Weisinger is in charge of all the flight commanders. That's perfectly fine if you have an issue with that. Yes, that's jumping the chain in a way, but in a case like this where it's sensitive to your supervisor, that might be a better option. Also, what you can do for GMC cadets, talk to Cadet Lewis, talk to the GMC liaison. That is her job. That is her duty as the GMC liaison